Good evening, my brothers and sisters. How are you doing this beautiful evening? I hope that you all had a nice family day this past weekend. I know that it was a major holiday, and I hope that out of everything, you had some good family time. Because majority of the time throughout the year, you be around other people than with your family. So I hope that you took advantage and spent some great family time because this past weekend I had great family time and I look forward, if the Lord allow me to have more good family time. Uh if, and welcome to the dinner table. It's that time, my brother and sisters, and I'm glad that you have time to sit here with me and enjoy some good food for the soul. Come on in, invite some more family members and friends. If this is your first time at the dinner table, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tony M. Toomer, and I talk about relationships. I talk about relationships, my brother and sister, basically from a spiritual point of view. And when I say spiritually, I believe strongly that God had a unique relationship with the man Adam. I believe strongly that God had a unique relationship with the woman Eve. I believe strongly that God brought the woman to the man when he was prepared for the woman. And in the presence of God, the man Adam said, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. I should call a woman because she came from man. That's the position that I come from as far as relationship. If you got any other type of idea about a relationship, that's up to you, my brother and sister. You got a free will, but the best way to have a good relationship is to do it God way. I see that Sister Flo is at the dinner table. How you doing, Sister Flo? I see that my mother has sit at the dinner table. So come on in, my brothers. Come on in, my sister. I got some good food for the soul this evening, and you do not want to miss it, okay? With that said, my brother and sister, I am talking live on two different platforms. I'm on the book and I'm on the tube. If you're on the tube, you may not see the comments those that are on the book. And those of you that are on the book, you may not see the comments of those on the tube. So I'm here on two different platforms. And I encourage you, brother and sister, simply brother and sister here, you can talk to one another during this broadcast. And I encourage you to talk to one another during the broadcast call. We sister and brother. As long as you talk about what we're talking about tonight, okay? How you doing, Sister Cynthia Paul? Welcome to the dinner table. Now, we're about to get into something very interesting on the menu. If you look at the menu tonight at the dinner table, what's on the dock or what's on the menu is God, man, and multiple women. That's what we are going to discuss at the dinner table tonight. God, man, and multiple women. Now, my brother and sister, in this world, in this system that we're living in, men have many weaknesses. How you doing, Sister Tierra? Sister Tierra said, "Good evening, Tony, and everybody, everyone. Happy holidays to you and Cinderella and your family." Thank you so much, Sister Tierra. For those of you that don't know Cinderella, that's my wife. Her name is Tequesa, but her code name is Cinderella. That's what Sister Tierra was talking about. So thank you, Sister. Thank you for coming to the dinner table, and I hope that you had some good family time. But back to what I was saying. In this world, my brother and sister, a man have many weaknesses. Listen to me carefully. A man have many weaknesses. Why does a man have many weaknesses? Because it all started in the Garden of Eden, okay? But what I'm about to say, there's no excuse because God gave a man a free will and woman free will so that he or she could do what he or she decide to do. But there is truth and there is consequences. Now, since a man have many weaknesses, for example, these are some major weaknesses of the average man. Money, the pursuit of money, the pursuit of fame, the pursuit of possession of multiple assets and power. Now, the real question tonight, my brother and sister, is what befall most men? What are most weaknesses that befall most men? And the answer is tonight, my brother and sister, is a woman or women. This is one of the most major weaknesses of a man. And that's why we're talking at the dinner table tonight, God, man, and multiple women. Now, there are many men out there that think having multiple women in their life is a great achievement. Some men, they look at collecting multiple women and they want to boast about it. And let me tell you something, my brother and sister, I'm not far from that, because when I was younger and when I was really out there in the world, I had, I can identify with some of what these men are saying. So what am I saying? I'm saying, my brother and sister, that I was into that little game. I was out there trying to collect women, and I had a very high success rate. How you doing, sister Deborah Scott? Now, I'm not bragging, I'm not boasting, but I had a very high success rate. But even though I pursued women, which was wrong, I shouldn't have been pursuing women. I shouldn't have been running after women, but I did it. And I'm being transparent. I did it. Out of all of that, my brother and sister, guess what? I failed. There's no man out there that could collect women and have a high success rate. It's not possible. There are some men out there that think if they dating several women or in a relationship with several women, that they're going to get brownie point. They may get brownie point from their boys. They may be quote unquote looked at. He's the man. He got it going on. And that's how our world kind of perceives a lot of men. Like if a man collect or known to be a ladies man, he get the high five and all that kind of stuff for whatever reason. But I'm here to tell you, when I tried to live that lifestyle, I was very not successful. As a matter of fact, it was void, it was vain, it didn't mean nothing. I wasted a whole bunch of my personal time, and I wasted time of some of those women. Some of those women just didn't matter to them, but I wasted their time, they wasted my time, and it was vanity. All was vanity. When you look in the book of Ecclesiastes, it was vanity. It didn't mean nothing. It didn't mean nothing. Now, question, my brothers and sisters, why do men have, or to say it differently, want to have multiple women? That's the question that we're going to talk about at the dinner table. Why do men want to be involved in multiple women? It's lust. When you break it down, my brothers and sisters, listen to me. It's mostly lust. And I know some brothers, some men, I ain't gonna say brothers, called my brothers know what I'm talking about, but most men of the world, I done let it out the bed. I have opened up the book and I let it out the bed. Most of it is lust. So let me tell you something, my sisters. If you don't know, you're about to know tonight. If a man entertain, how you doing, Sister Cynthia and Sister Dare, work to the dinner table. If a man entertain more than one plus woman, that man, there's no way that a man could love two women equally on the same level. Listen to me, sisters. There's no way a man could love two women or more on the same level. If you look at it from a worldly standpoint, it's going to always be one that have the advantage or more of his attention than the others. So a man that have multiple women, even a man that call himself quote unquote married to more than one woman, one is not, some of them are not going to get the same treatment. So sister, if you walk into a relationship whereas a man is dating more than one woman, the question is, what position are you in? How you doing, Sister Cheryl? Welcome to the dinner table. What position are you in? And you got to understand it. Now, let me give you a hypothetical, sisters and brothers. Let me give you a hypothetical. Let's talk about me for a moment. I'm not trying to be vain enough, but let me talk about me. If I decide to have a woman on the side, Listen carefully. If I decide to have a woman on the side, you see that one right there. If I decide to have a woman on the side, she's going to be number one. She's going to be number one. There's not going to be no comparison to her. I'm going to say that 2 more times. If I decide to have a woman on the side, she's going to be number one. If I decide to have a woman on the side, she's going to be number one. So there's no competing with her. There's no comparison and contrast. If I got in a relationship with a woman on the side, if you want to ask me questions about her, we ain't no talk about her, because that's none of your business. If you decide to deal with me, that's between you and I. That, you know, there are some women that they want quote unquote the truth. Now, I'm not saying I'm doing that. I'm just giving you a hypothetical if I decide to do it. Now, if I decide to do something like that, if I had a side woman and she asked me a question about Cinderella, that's none of your business, boy, about Cinderella, because it's not going to be no comparison and contrast, because she's going to be number one. Now, some men, the reason why I said that, now some men will not tell these side women that their wife is going to be number one. Most men would tell these other women that they will try to make it a sob story about their wife. They will say something like, well, we're going through problems. We are together for the children. It's a financial thing. And we don't sleep in the same room and all that crap. Most men would do it. Most men, not all men, but most men, you see this right here. This is my wedding band, right? Most men would take their rings off their finger, even though they got that indent right there. They would take the ring off the finger for the sake of the side woman. Now, if I decide to have a side woman, I'm not going to take my ring off. I'm going to leave my ring right here, and it'll be right in the woman's face. So you know that I'm married, and you know that I'm married to Cinderella. So I'm not going to take my ring off for no side woman. It is what it is. Now, I'm not saying that I was doing that. I'm just giving you a hypothetical. Now, there are some men that be straight to the point with a woman or women. They let the woman know that they are married. And then there are some women that they're dying with it. As a matter of fact, I always say this is a chick magnet. Most married men, not all married men. Now, there are some women out there that be saying, most of the men that I attract are married men. Now let me tell you about that. When most women say most of the men that I attract are married men, they may be married. They may be in a quote unquote serious committed relationship. But for those that say I attract married men, why are married men coming to you? Now this is gonna bust some women out, what I'm about to say. Just because a married man approach you, it doesn't mean that you that special. And I'm not talking down to me. I mean to you women. I'm just being transparent. For those that say I attract married men, the question is why you attract married men. What is it that a married man see in you? Now, I have told you earlier, most men that look at another woman, I told you, I'm going to tell you 3 more times. I'm going to give you the reason why. It's called lust. It's called lust. It calls lust. That's why most men would do it. Now, why would men have lust for another woman or women? We can go all the way back to the Garden of Eden. When Adam and Eve made that choice to do what they did, sin passed on to everyone that came after Adam, because every man and woman had that sinful nature. One man lusts after this, one man lusts after that, one woman lusts after this, one woman lusts after that. If you're a part of the human race, there's something that you're dealing with. Believe me, my brother and sister, if you are human, There's something that you're dealing with. Even if you are a Christian, there's an issue in your life that you're going to be dealing with. You and God going to know what that issue is. You, God, and your mate may know what that issue is, or you, God, and the public may know what that issue is. Okay, so there's no righteous, no, not one. But we're talking about this particular thing: God, man, and multiple women. Now, I'm telling you, brothers, if you tell these women, if you know you are in a serious, committed, and covenant relationship, I'm not endorsing what I'm about to say, but when you do this, and some of you brothers, I have to say brothers this time because some brothers do it, and I hate to say it. It ain't only worldly men, it's some of the brothers that doing it too. If you talk to a woman outside of your serious, committed and covenant relationship, even though you may be straight up and tell another woman, look, I'm married and all that, and see what she agree with it. Just because the woman agree with your position doesn't mean she might agree with it at the beginning. But let me tell you, brothers, and let me tell you, sisters, how you doing, Sister Alexis? Welcome to the dinner table. And yeah, Cinderella, I let her know, Sister Alexis, she back there knocked out right now. But my brother and sister, a man that decide to tell another woman that he's married, quote unquote, serious, committed, and covenant relationship, and he wants to bring her into the equation, you need to know this. You need to know this. If he have a wife, more than likely he's not going to leave his wife totally for the other woman. More than likely he's not going to do it. Now, some would say, well, he left her because he's with me every now and then. And some would say, well, how can him and his wife have a relationship when he with me most of the time? Because don't he go back to her? Most of the time, what some men do, they would tell the woman straight up and they say, well, at least I told her. But what these men fail to realize, and what the women fail to realize, if you make an agreement with a man that's already in a serious, committed, covenant relationship, if you make an agreement to be with a man, and this is being transparent, there's an element that's going to come up. You agree at that particular time, but what's going to happen, if that man and you continue to spend time together, and you deem those times as wonderful time, the best time that you ever had in your life, what's going to happen, especially once you spending time together, you're doing things together, you're going on trips together, you go on date together, and then you get to that physical, intimate part, the relationship going to change. Once you get to the physical part, it's going to change. Because if a man continue to be around some of you sisters, because some of you sisters, you entertaining men that are in serious, committed, covenant relationship, and the world of women that at the dinner table, what's going to happen? You may act like you understand at the beginning, but the understanding is going to go out the door after a while, because you're going to get emotionally tied to that man. If you keep seeing it, you're going to get emotionally tied to the man. Then you add physical intimacy to it. Now you become what? You become soul tied to the man. Because I always tell you, brother, and I always tell you, sisters, once you cross that line, that physical line, it's more than just the physical. Because a man and woman, you are made of three components. You have spirit, you have a soul, and you have your body. That's what you made out of. Now, the first thing you're going to get is the soul first, not the spirit. It's the soul first. Then you get soul tied to that man or that woman and the body. You understand? You got to understand that, because the physical part of the relationship is more than the oohs and ahs. There's a connection. There is an exchange of energy. That's what a lot of you don't understand. So, brother, if you decide to be with a woman and you already know you got a wife or something at home, you got to understand this. The woman that you're dealing with out there is not no secret. Even, let me tell you something. If you're dealing with a woman on the outside and you got a wife or whatever, the woman that you're dealing with on the outside, she's going to tell somebody. I always say that. She's going to tell somebody. It's never between you and that woman. Even though you may not say nothing, it's never going to be a private matter. She's going to tell somebody. She got girlfriends. She's going to tell them. If she got one, she's going to tell them. She's going to tell somebody she's not going to be able to keep it like that. Even if you're dealing with a woman and she is married. If she married, you may think it between you married, she married, and you think it between you and her because she married, so she's still going to tell somebody because she got a girlfriend. She got somebody she's going to tell it to. She's not going to keep it lit. Because let me tell you this. Whatever in the dark come to light, even though you try. Now, there's some of you guys, you talk a lot too. You talk a lot, you tell people too. So it's not going to be kept a secret. It's a secret from you because you think that she ain't gonna tell nobody, but she's gonna tell it. I'm telling you. Now, if you're following God, now this is not no downer on no women. Get me right. This is not no downer on no women. But at the dinner table, we're talking about God and we're talking about a man and multiple women. Now, following God and having multiple women never and will never cause a man to be successful. Listen to what I'm saying. If you are following God and you have multiple women, what is multiple women? More than one. It never and it will never cause a man to be successful. I know this. I know this firsthand because I'm being transparent, because I have tried it before. And every time I tried it in the past, get that, and when I tried in the past, it slowed my growth down. You understand? It slowed my growth down. Why? Because let me tell you this, my brother and sister. God don't like it. That's just point blank. Now, some of you would say, well, King David had more than one woman. Yes, he did. King Solomon had more than one woman. Yes, he did. But I'm going to address that shortly. Just because King David had multiple women and King Solomon had multiple women, what you got to understand about dad and son, they had some problem when they had more than one. You understand? Once they had more than one, they had problems. Even Israel, when his name was Jacob, he had two wives. They were sisters. One was Leah and one was Rachel. That was problems. Anytime a man have more than one woman and you call yourself married to him, you're going to have problems. You're going to have strife. You're going to have problems because one going to be saying, you treat her better than me. If they don't say it verbally, they're going to think it. And like I have told you, my brother and sister, I have told you this, bear with me. If you have heard the story, you're going to hear it again because some on here never heard it. Like what I'm doing now at the dinner table. And some of you, like I said, bear this. Like there was this one young lady. She contacted me. I thought she wanted to do consultation, right? That's what I thought. So she reached out to me and I said, okay, this in my mind, okay, this is going to be a consultation moment, right? Because I got a side business where I consult. I do consultation with people that have relationship problems. Okay. So I'm thinking that what she wanted to do. But this sister, she presented to me that she will move here to the state and city that I'm in. She was a retired young lady, military or whatever. She was retired. And she's told me she wanted to be my wife. And she already knew about Cinderella. She seen it. She was at the dinner table. And see Cinderella. Her thing was she already know about her. She just wanted to be my wife. And I asked her for entertainment purpose at how that's supposed to work out. And she said, she said, I move there, I get me a house. And she said, I stay in the house. You can stay where you at, or you can stay with me. And I said, well, how does this supposed to work? And she said, whatever you do with your wife, you do the same thing for me. That's all she required. And then she said, then she made a statement too. She said, well, we could all live together. I wonder how Cinderella would have took it if I would have said, you mind if I have another concubine? No, yeah, concubine, and we all live together happily ever after. I don't think Cinderella would have wanted to do that. I really don't think she would have wanted to do it. Let me see. No, she wouldn't want to do that. But my point is, if I agreed to a scenario like that, this lady moved to the state and city that I'm in, and I tried to, I couldn't do it completely. I was not going to be able to satisfy that woman on a spiritual level. I was not going to be able to satisfy that woman from the soul, from an emotional, mental level. I wasn't going to be able to do it. And I wasn't going to be able to satisfy her on a physical level. You understand? I wasn't going to be able to do it. I could have tried to do it, but the more time I would have spent with a woman, I already knew that the soul type part was going to kick in. There's no way a man could continue to be with a woman and feelings don't get involved. It's either the woman feeling going to kick out or the man feeling, or both. You understand? Most of the time, the woman get more entrenched in the emotional part than the man. And I have always said that most of the time, men mentally try to separate. Okay, this is just a side thing. I'm not investing my mind. I'm not investing my emotion into it. It is what it is. And that's what some women do not understand a lot of time. Most of the time, if a man decides to entertain you, men have the ability to separate the what is from not what is not. You understand? They do. Because some men, they could come be with a woman, get into the physical part, and that's all it was. It was just, as some would say, it was just a release. That's all it was. It was a physical release. Now, some women, some that I might be talking to right now, the man that have a married man, a man that's in a serious, committed, covenant relationship, have told you all these great things, right? He have told you all these great things. Once you let the man enter into your body, a lot of times that's when you're going to notice a change. Especially if you call yourself holding back. You finally give him your body that you reside in. You finally give him your body. Then, like I said, you change. Once you go over that line, Dorothy, you're not in Kansas anymore. You have crossed over to Oz. Once you cross over to Oz, you're going to remember something about Oz. You're going to remember something about Kansas, and you're going to remember something about Oz. But once you cross over that line, it's different. You're not friends anymore. I'm telling you, my brother and sister, once you cross over that physical line, especially from a spiritual standpoint, from God's viewpoint, once you sleep with a person, you become one. That's why God does not want us, my brothers and sisters, to do that. How you doing, Sister Teresa? Welcome to the dinner table. That's why God put a premium on that. And you see, a lot of time we may think being physical with somebody is just a G thing, baby, but it's more than that. It's a deeper thing. That's why some of you guys, once you cross over with somebody, like they may already be emotional with you, right? But then once they give you their bodies, then they get more entrenched, and then you want to call yourself pulling back. And when you call yourself pulling back, and like you said, well, you understood that I had a wife, you know I had a wife, but then you see eventually, a lot of times they're going to want you to leave your wife. Yeah, they understood at one time. And then you're going to have that talk. You're going to be in bed with this lady, this side lady, and then one day she's going to pop this on you. Is this all we're going to do? And then you think, what you mean this is all we're going to do? Well, we need to do more than just sleeping together. Am I just a person that you sleep with? But remember, if you told her from the beginning that I'm married, and she knew you was married. How you doing, Brother Molly? She knew you was married, and then you spending that time getting emotional, entangled with her, and then she let you sleep with her, and then she all of a sudden say, well, I want more. Brother, you got to expect that. They're going to want more because guess what? They so tied to you. And then when you pull away, that's why some of them, it appear like they're crazy, but they're not crazy. They just emotionally entrenching you when you pull back. Because especially if you were quote unquote treating her good, taking her out, doing things for her like a husband do, and she look at you as you her husband, even though you're not a husband, she look at it, and then you pulling all that away from her, then she's gonna feel that she's been used. Even when you made an agreement with her, she's gonna think that. And some of those women are gonna make life hard for you. Then they're gonna want to tell everybody, especially your wife. They want everybody to know. Don't you know sometimes, brother, even if you mess with a married woman and she got a husband, if you mess with a married woman outside of a single woman, some of those married women, they would get pissed off and do some crazy stuff. Yes, they married, but they would do something. They don't care, some of them. And you think they crazy. No, it's their soul. They soul tied. And then you wonder why they doing it. They had to understand. You got to understand it's a bigger picture than getting with them for 2 minutes or whatever, do a little squirt, and more than that. Now, following God. How you doing, Sister Ingrid? Welcome to them tape. Following God and having multiple women, like I said, will never work out. I tried it. I tried it years ago. It never worked out. I was not no exception to the rule. I could do it right now if I told you, but it's not going to be nothing. I already know it's not going to be nothing. Because like I said earlier, if I did it, she's still going to be number one. So if any woman outside decide to get, do something with me, she's still going to be number one. Now, some of you, how can she be number one and you dealing with somebody on the outside? Because she will be number one. And if we have a date or something and someone come up with her, I'm going to break the date and go with her. That's how I would do it. And then the side woman, she'll get pissed off at me because you said you going to do, yeah, I said I was going to do that, but changes happen and you knew I was married. And that's what happened. So if a woman or man get a relationship like that, when it's not going to work out. That's the bottom line. It's not going to work out. All it's going to do is make God angry. I'm going to give you a few scenarios where God gets angry when a man try to do things his way instead of God's way. Let me tell you something what Satan knows. And you see, Satan knows about this. Let's not leave him out of it. You see, I didn't say nothing about Satan. You kept hearing me saying God every now and then, right? Let me talk about Satan. You see, you got to understand it, my brother. So it's a bigger picture than what you see. It's a bigger picture than the physical. As you know, it's a spiritual world and it's a physical world. The spiritual world overlaps with the physical world. Even though you can't see the spiritual world, it overlaps. The spiritual world runs things, control things. Brother and sister, basically, you got a free will. You got a free will. God and Satan is just like a big chess match. If any of you understand what playing chess, you got to be very strategic and you have to think moves ahead. When you come to checker, you have to make moves ahead, but checker is less challenging than chess. So you got God make the ultimate move, and God always going to say checkmate. And then you got Satan gonna always try to beat God on this chessboard. The chessboard is the world. Brother and sister, you are pawns on this planet called Earth. You got a soul. God wants your soul. Satan wants your soul. This is what you got to really understand. God wants your soul. Satan wants your soul. And you're going to make a decision. Who's going to get your soul, Satan or God? As for a man go. And what I said earlier, Every man have a weakness. And I listed some of those weaknesses. For those of you that come in, I said that money is a weakness for some men. Fame is a weakness for some men, or popularity. Possession of multiple assets for some men. Power is a weakness for some men. But ultimately, a woman, a bad woman, the wrong woman is the downfall of many men that got purpose in their life. Listen to what I said, men that got purpose in their life. So I'm telling you this, my brother and sister, why do you all not, when I say you all, I'm just talking in general, why do you get surprised when you hear that a preacher will with a woman in worship, or a man with no one? Why are you getting surprised about all of that? There's nothing to be surprised about, because in the book of Ecclesiastes, they said there's nothing new under the sun as far as human pattern and behavior. So why are you getting all flabbergasted if you find out that your preacher was with another woman? You got to understand this. Your preacher is a man before he's a preacher. However, if he's a preacher, he got more responsibilities towards God. So when a man is called by God, he has more responsibilities, I put it that way, than the average man. He has more accountability than the average man when you're poor out of the world, but you're in the world. So, brother, if you're living a Christian life, and especially if you got a good, serious, committed, and covenant relationship, and you got it going on real good, I'm telling you, I have said it before, Satan is coming after your relationship. It's not a matter of if he will, it's a question of when he will. Because Satan walk around like a roaring lion, seeking whom he can devour. Brothers, as well as sisters, if you got a good relationship before God, Satan is coming after you. Newsflash, he's coming. So don't be surprised. And this is what Satan knew. I'm going to name some men that what Satan knew about. First of all, Satan knew that Adam loved Eve at the moment more than he loved God. He knew it. That's why he did not attack Adam directly. He went through Eve. He knew how to get Adam. How did he get Adam? He studied Adam. He studied Eve. And he said, I'm going to get at God through that woman, and she's going to get that man, and they're going to get it. I'm getting at God ultimately. And it worked. Satan knew that about Adam. Who else did Satan know about? Satan knew about David having lust towards Bathsheba for the moment. Even though David was called a man after God's own heart, he had lust towards Bathsheba. And we know what happened. He had Bathsheba's husband killed, Uriah the Hittite. His firstborn with Bathsheba died. And he had problems in his home after that. Satan knew that. What else did Satan know? He knew about David's son Solomon. He knew that God told his people, do not deal with people from other nations. Don't give your daughters to them, and don't let your sons marry them. Satan knew about that. He knew that Solomon had lust for 1,000 women, which we're going to talk about shortly. Solomon at the moment had more lust in his heart towards those women than God, because he went after those women with all his heart, and his heart got pulled away from the Lord. Satan knew that Samson had lust for women. His mama and his daddy told him, why are you messing with all those Philistines and those other women? You know you aren't supposed to do that, son. Did Samson listen? No, he didn't listen. Then he ran into the wrong one. And we know who she was. Delilah. He got a free haircut. And not only did he get a free haircut, he lost his eyesight. Literally, he lost his eyes. His eye was messed up. So he couldn't see no more. Without anesthesia, they messed his eyes up. Also, this is where Satan failed at one time. He tried Joseph, and we're not talking about Joseph, Jesus' stepfather. We talk about Joseph, one of the 12 sons of Jacob, which name changed to Israel. Joseph, the dreamer, his brothers were jealous of him. They sold him into slavery. He ended up at Potiphar's house. Potiphar's wife wanted to lay with him. She kept at him. One day, she set him up. When Joseph went to the house to do his normal business, no one was around. You know how that happened? So, Potiphar's wife, she set it up. She had everybody go because she knew what? His pattern and behavior. So when Joseph came in, she said, okay, you need to come in the everyday moment. You need to, quote unquote, make love with me, or you need to come get some of this because I want some of you in everyday language. Joseph said, no, I'm not going to do that. Because see, Joseph knew it was going to anger God, and he was working for the man, and that was his wife. So she was trying to pull him into the bed, and she grabbed his coat, and he came out of the coat and ran. And she set him up. She told her husband that Joseph was trying to rape her. And her husband knew she was lying. But to save face, he didn't kill him. He put him in prison. And as we know the rest of it, Joseph became the second most powerful man in Egypt. From prison to the second most powerful man in Egypt. That's one battle that Satan lost. The ultimate battle that Satan lost was when he tried to tempt Jesus. And we know about that. He lost. He lost when Jesus was in the wilderness. He lost. He was picking at Jesus all throughout that time. When you read the Bible, when you see people, Jesus had opposition from people, Satan was leading it. You have to be able to look in. That's why you have to have spiritual discernment so you can see where it's coming from. Because Paul said we wrestle not against flesh and blood. That's what Paul said. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. So what he was talking about, we wrestle against spiritual wickedness from high places directed at Satan. Now, some of you guys that got purpose in your life. When I said purpose, you have a relationship with God. You have a relationship with God, and especially if you're married and you have a good marriage, even though you have storm in your marriage, but overall it's good. Satan want to tap your testimony. Don't ever say that it can't happen to you, brothers. That's why you have to keep yourself or not being one-on-one with other women besides your wife, because there's that lust factor and you might just do it. Now, according to Pastor Travis D. Smith, again, according to Pastor Travis D. Smith, here are 3 signs of a bad woman. Listen up. According to Pastor Travis D. Smith, here are 3 signs of a bad woman, brother. If you are a man of purpose, you're trying to please God. You got to look out for these signs. Number 1, appearance. Number 1, appearance. This woman, the bad woman, how she dressed. What do I mean how she dressed? She draws attention from who she really is on the inside to her physical appearance. Listen to what I'm saying, brother. She draws attention from what she really is on the inside to her outside. That's why a lot of time, brother, you see a lot of women, they like to show a lot of cleavage. That's why a lot of time you see a lot of women like to show their flesh. They like to show you those swimsuit pictures, and they ain't selling. They are not on no magazine or nothing. They on these. They on social media and everything. Why do you think? Listen carefully, brothers. Why do you think a lot of women put on swimming suit and they take pictures and put it on social media? You got to think about it. It's deeper than what you say. You think it's all about her. It is all about her, but she's being used as a pawn for Satan to call you to have lust. You got to understand that. So you can jump in her inbox and then she talk about you. That's right. And then there's some of you guys, you jump in those women inbox because you see a lot of cleavage, because they have on swimsuit. They might not even be around a beach. But why do you think they do that? Why do you think, brothers, a lot of women, not all women, why do you think a lot of them, they have the cameras in front of them, they be in the bathroom, they have the mirror behind them, they have their phone in front of them, and you see them taking a frontal picture, but behind, they show them behind. Why, brother, do you think when a lot of women, they want to feature their buttocks and their hips and different things? Why do you think a lot of women, they try to draw attention to what's between their legs and how pushed out it is? Why do you think that? It's a bait. It's a bait that Satan used. These aren't good women. These aren't women that you, if you got a man of purpose that you want to take around your family and your friends, if you got purpose. These type of women, you don't want her in your life because they attention seekers. You don't need no woman that is an attention seeker in your life. You don't need that if you're a man of purpose. Number 2, according to Pastor Travis D. Smith, attitude. What do we mean by attitude? These are the women that call themselves boss ladies. They're strong and they call themselves independent. If a woman is truly a boss woman, is she truly a strong and independent woman, she don't have to say nothing out of her mouth. Because the real nature of a woman is a virtuous woman. Virtuous women don't have to go around telling people that they boss ladies. They don't have to tell people they're strong and independent. Because virtuous women, they let their actions speak more than their attitude. Virtuous women are humble women. They don't seek attention, even though they're going to get attention because they got the Lord in their life. And if the Lord is in these women's life, the life of Christ is going to shine, and they can't be hid anyway. So these bold, strong, independent women, they stay in the streets more than at home. They are subtle and hard. They are deceitful. They very, how shall I say it? They cunning, very cunning, and they sly. A lot of them are loud and stubborn. She had a very rebellious heart. She liked to vent. She liked to rage at those who warned her of the coincidence of her ways. She would be saying people just hating on her. People don't be hating on her. They just call it what they see, and she don't want them to see it. She does this with her girlfriends, her co-workers, social media, and the side dude. Number 3, action. According to Pastor Travis D. Smith, she's unsettled, focus on her carnal desires at the sacrifice of her marriage vows, or to say it differently, again, she's in the streets. And don't get this wrong what I'm about to say. Listen very carefully. Don't get it wrong. This is the type of woman that like to go on a whole bunch of girl trips more than family trips, and being at home with her family and her husband. Those type, according to Pastor Travis D. Smith. Now, if I had to do a movie on a bad woman for a man of purpose. Now, when I say a bad woman, I'm not talking to you sisters. So you're not even in the equation. I'm talking about a bad woman, and this is a warning for men of purpose. If I had to do a strip, I would go to Proverbs chapter 7, verse 4 through 27. Again, Proverbs chapter 7, 4 through 27. Proverbs chapter 7, 4 through 27. Bear with me, and I'm going to read the script of the prototype of a bad woman, according to God's word. Now, here we go. Say to wisdom, you are my sister, and to insight, you are a relative. They will keep you from the adulterous woman, from the wayward woman with her seductive words. At the window of my house, I looked down through the laces. I saw among the simple. I noticed among the young men a youth who had no sense. He didn't have no common sense. He was going down the street near the corner. Walking along in the direction of her house at twilight. That's 12 o'clock at night. As the day was fading, as the dark of night set in, then out came a woman to meet him, dressed like a prostitute. What do I mean by prostitute? You know what I'm talking about. Those women that like to show everything. They like to show their boobs and everything. Okay, Sister Cheryl, is Proverbs chapter 7, verse 4 through 27. Again, that Proverbs chapter 7, 4 through 27. Then out came a woman to meet him, dressed like a prostitute with crafty intent. She is unruly and defiant. Her feet never stay at home. Now in the streets, now in the square, at every corner she lurks. You welcome, sister. She lurks. She took hold of him and she kissed him with a brave face, and say, what a brave face mean? She was looking so innocent. She was looking real innocent, but she wasn't. That was on the outside. Today, I have fulfilled my vows. I have food from my fellowship offering at home. Today, I have fulfilled my vows, and I have food from my fellowship offering at home. So I came out to meet you. That's what she said. I came out to meet you. She looking so innocent, but when you look at how she dressed and everything, she dressed one way, but she trying to portray something else. So I came out to meet you. I looked for you and have found you, like she was overjoyed to find a man. I have covered my bed with colored linen from Egypt. I have perfume on my bed with myrrh, aloe, and cinnamon. That means she got fresh sheets. Why she got fresh sheets? Why she let this guy know she got fresh sheets in her bedroom? Then she say, come, let us drink deeply of love till the morning. Let's enjoy ourselves with love. And check this out. Now, this is a married woman. And she said, my husband is not at home. He have gone on a long journey. He took his purse filled with money and will not be home till full noon. Stop right there. Stop right there. She said, my husband is not at home. He's gone on a long journey. He took his purse filled with money and will not come home till the full moon. What is this lady saying? She telling this guy, you could come to my place. The bed is ready. I'm hot. I want you. We ain't got to go to no motel. I ain't got to come to your place. You come to my place. I got fresh sheets. My husband, he out of town. He got his money and he's not coming back to next week. On next Friday. That's when he come back. So we ain't got to worry about him. You just come on to mama house. With persuasive word, she led him astray. She seduced him with her smooth talk. Yeah, she talking real good to him. And why she talking real good to him? He just, all in his mind, he just thinking about how he gonna have her on her back, how he gonna flip her from behind, how they gonna be on the chandelier and everything. He think about, because she just using those sweet seductive words while she looking in his eye and those smooth words. That's what she doing. With persuasive word, led him astray. She seduced him with a smooth talk. All at once, he followed her like an ox going to the slaughter, like a deer stepping into a noose, till an arrow pierced his liver, like a bird darted into a snare, little knowing it would cause his life. Let me stop right there. Remember, she said, my husband have taken a trip. So this man, his loins get filled with lust. He said, okay, I ain't got to spend no hotel money. I ain't got to do none of this. All I have to do, go over there and hit it. That's what he's saying. All I have to do, go hit it. So he go over there. And what she did not know, her husband, instead of coming back next Friday, he said to himself, I'm going to surprise her. I'm not going to call and let her know I'm coming home. I'm going to make this business trip short. Instead of going for a week, I'm just going to go for one day and I'm going to turn around and call. When I got to where I was supposed to be, the meeting went quicker than I thought. We handled everything. We signed out a paper. Now I'm going to surprise her, and I'm not going to tell her I'm going to come home. I'm going to surprise her. So he made reservation on the plane. That right, so she'll swing from the shoulder. He made reservation for the plane. Now he back on his way home. In the meantime, while he home, the guy, all he thinking about is, you know, doing the grown folk stuff. You know what I mean? So he went to her house, and they just throwing down. They talking about, I love you. You the best I ever had. I can't, you know, they just all sweat and everything. They making all those animalistic noise. That's a bonnet thing. All those animal-like noise. They doing everything in his bed. So he comes home. He put his key in the door, and he opened it. He was about to say, honey, my home. Then he hears something. He hears his wife's voice moaning. His mind is disoriented. Why is she doing all that moaning? And then she hear, how you doing, Sister Monica King? Welcome to the dinner table. Then she hear this man husky voice, all that kind of stuff, right? And he hearing her wife, all that kind of stuff, right? So he put his bag down, and he walked. The sign get more louder and stuff, right? And then he put his ear to the door. He opened the door, and when he opened the door, he see his wife and his man doggy styling. So he see his wife and his man doggy styling his wife, and the instant thing that comes to his mind, I can't believe what I'm seeing. So she look up at him and say, it ain't what you think. It ain't what you think. And then the man said, because it's a possibility that man didn't know. It's a possibility that he thought that the man would be gone to next Friday, but it didn't happen. So the man run to the drawer and get his gun out. Now, when he get his gun out, it goes back to this. With persuasive words, she led him astray. She seduced him with her smooth talk. At once, he followed her like an ox going to a slaughter. When an ox go to a slaughter, we know what that means, right? You about to become ground beef. Then it says, like a deer snare into a noose. Your head about to be on somebody's wall till an arrow pierces liver, like a bullet. Pay attention to what I just said. Do not let your heart turn to her ways or stray into her path. Many are victims she had brought down. Her slay are in mighty throng. Her house is the highway to grave, leading down to the chambers of death. God will get angry with a man for trying to have multiple women. As a matter of fact, he have gotten angry with me several times, but I'm here to tell you about it. He got angry with me several times, but I thank God he changed my life around. And why will he get angry? Here is a documentation of proof. We're going back to King Solomon, why God got angry. As it is written in 1 Kings 11, chapter 11, 1 through 4. 1 Kings chapter 11, 1 through 4. 1 Kings chapter 11, 1 through 4, it said, but King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughters of Pharaoh. They didn't believe in the one true God. Women of the Moabite, Ammonite, Ammonite, Zernite, and Hittite, women that didn't believe in the one true God. Of the nation, check this out, of the nation, what the Lord said unto the children of Israel, you shall not go to them, neither shall they come to you, for surely they will turn away your hearts after their gods. Solomon cleaved unto these in love. He had 700 wives, princes, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. You see, when you deal with more than one woman, they believe in different things. I'm talking about men of purpose. Yes, men of purpose will fall. But if you fall, brothers, I'm letting you know. And there's some example. King Solomon was the most wise man to live other than the Lord Jesus, because Jesus was the whole embodiment of wisdom. Solomon had 1,000 women, and it said his wives turned away his heart. For it came to pass, listen to this, it said, when it came to pass, Solomon was old, that his wife turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God, as was his heart, the heart of David his father. That is it. Yes, Solomon was a bad man when he got old. Solomon had it going on. He was a king. He was the most wealthy man to ever live. Bill Gates, them, or this Elon Musk ain't have nothing on him. You see, Elon Musk and all these rich people, rich men, they may be called billionaires and stuff, but these billionaires, they didn't have no whole country like Solomon. There's not one man that lived before Solomon, after Solomon, that had the type of wealth he had. Don't let these people around here tell you any different. And to cap it off, there's not one man before Solomon, while Solomon lived, after Solomon, that had the type of wisdom Solomon had. But yet Solomon had all that wisdom, but he failed. And then it got in 1 Kings chapter 11, 9 through 11. 1 Kings chapter 11, 9 through 11. 1 Kings 11, 9 through 11. As it is written, the Lord became angry with Solomon because his heart had turned away from the Lord, the God of Israel, that had appeared to him twice. Although he had forbade Solomon to follow other gods, Solomon did not keep the Lord's commandment So the Lord said to Solomon, since this is your attitude, and you have not kept my covenant and my decree, which I commanded you, I will most certainly tear the kingdom away from you and give it to one of your subordinates. So, what does that mean? Brother, if you are a man of purpose and you follow the Lord, you got to be very keen on what type of woman you're dealing with. You see, God got his own daughters to give to you. One good one. God don't give a man multiple women. Now, some of you say, well, he allowed David to have multiple women. Yes, he did. He allowed Solomon to have multiple women. Yes, he did. He will allow you to have multiple women, but that is not God's idea. God's idea was like the prototype is when you go back to the Garden of Eden. God could have brought Adam more than one woman. He just brought him one. But the real playboy is back in the book of Genesis. You look it up. There was one man in the book of Genesis. He had 2 wives. That's the first documentation of a man having more than one woman. It's in the book of Genesis. So, what am I saying? What I'm saying this. God did not build me. He did not build any of you brothers or any of you men to have more than one woman. Now, he give us the option to try to entertain more than one. He won't take that from you. He will give you the option, but I'm telling you, 2 women, you're going to have too many problems. You're going to have too many problems because you dealing with the emotional part of a woman. You're dealing with the mental part of a woman. You're dealing with all those factors. One, if you're dealing with those factors with one woman and then you add another woman, you're going to have some problems. You see, some men think more money, more problem. More women, more problem. Because no matter what, they're going to change the game on you. Those bad women, they're going to change the game on you. They will come in. They will act like they understand the situation, but they understand it from the beginning. But once that emotion get hooked, and once they give you their bodies, the whole story changed. Like I said earlier, it's just like Dorothy. When you leave Kansas and go to Oz, it changes. You remember on the Wizard of Oz when Dorothy went to Kansas? And remember at the end of the Wizard of Oz, remember she woke up and she was trying to tell the people around her about Oz. They thought it was a dream. And she was telling them about it. They could not relate to it. You know why they couldn't relate to it? Because they never went to Oz. And that's what I'm telling you, brother. Once you go to Oz with another woman, the wrong woman, that's the key, the wrong woman, you will never come back to Kansas like you left. Now, this is what I'm telling you. God, man, and multiple women. God did not make you, brother. And I find out this the hard with my brother and sister. When I did that kind of crap, when I used to do that kind of crap, I thought I was the man. I thought I was GQ and all that kind of stuff. It didn't work out for me. I thought that it was working out. It would used to be times, my brother and sister, and I'm not bragging or put myself on a pedestal. It used to be times where I could used to walk up to a woman, and it wasn't that much that I had to. I thought I had a smooth talk game. That's what I thought. I thought I had a smooth talk game. And the smooth talk game, it worked. I knew how to be a player. And I knew how it was to be played. So I knew how to be a player. And I knew how to be played. So I knew both sides of the coin. You see, when you know how to be a player, and when you see people, men and women trying to play, you already know where it's going to end up at. Because you see, you get to this table, the players table, right? It's just like a card table, right? You get to the point where you're going to say, look, I don't want to play this game no more. Because you see at the table, the player table, You got a winning hand sometimes, and sometimes you lose. You're not going to win all the time at being a player. So let me tell you something, brother. If you think you're a good player and you could outwit majority of women, some of them you may be able to outwit. But those that you think you outwin, some of them outwin you. Some of them play like they letting you get over, but you're not getting over. A lot of them getting over on you. So you got a player and a play each playing one another. So don't ever think, brother, that when you're dealing with multiple women, don't ever think, especially if you're married. If you're married, brother, and you're dealing with a woman on the outside, and then what gets some of me with some of these married men, you expect loyalty out of a side woman. Why do you expect loyalty out of a side woman? Just because you pay her mortgage, just because you pay her rent, just because you get her hair and nails done, but just because you're doing all this stuff, just because you put food in her refrigerator, because you buy a car, what make you think that make you deserve loyalty? You got to remember, she's not your wife. She's a free agent. You willfully gave that lady that stuff, and she willfully took it from you. So why would you get pent all up, even if you're paying the mortgage note and you go to her house and another guy is in the state that you bought? Why would you get angry at her? Because it's supposed to be an understanding because you bought that for her. You got to remember this, she's a free agent. So I'm telling you this, my brothers. If you decide to deal with a woman, they're right, Sister Teresa, reap what you sow, and you always reap more than you sow. Amen. So let me tell you this, brother. If you deal with a woman on the side, listen to me carefully. If you deal with a woman on the side, now some of them, they may not date other people. Some of them, very rare. But if you deal with a woman on the side and you're married, don't trip when you find out she with somebody else. Don't trip because you're not married to her. I'm going to tell you this too, some of you brothers. If you leave your wife and you go be with a woman that know that you married and you marry her, something going to happen. You're going to reap what you sow. If you with a woman that knew that you was married and you leave your wife for her, what's going to happen? God is not going to bless that relationship. I'm letting you know now. God is not going to bless that relationship. And I'm going to turn it around this way. Sister, if you're married and you deal with a man that knew you was married and you leave your husband and you go be with that man, don't think that God going to bless your home. He never blessed mess. What's going to happen? The ones that knew about the one that was married, this is what's going to happen. You get with that person, right? And you think y'all going to have a happy life. You think you're going to have the Disney life, right? You think you're going to have the Hallmark life. It doesn't work like that. It may work for that for a while, but guess what? Either you going to start seeing somebody on the side, either that person that you got with going to start seeing somebody on the side, or both of y'all going to see somebody on the outside. It's not going to work out. It's not going to work out because this law called you sow what you reap, it's in effect. God don't change that rule for nobody, my brother. He don't change that rule for nobody, my sister, but I'm just warning you. Listen to me carefully. I'm warning you. God, man, and multiple women. God wants you to be with the woman that he brought to your life. Yes, brother, you may see other women that's appealing. Also, sister, you may see a man that's appealing more than your husband. Brother, if you see a woman that's more appealing than your wife, sister, if you see a man that's more appealing than your wife and they make advances towards you, don't think you the bomb. You need to look beyond that. You don't know what, say know what you like, brother. Say know what you like, my sister. He might bring those people up to you strategically to bring your relationship down. That's what you got to understand. Understand that. My brother and sister, I hope that you got something from the dinner table tonight. I hope that there was good food for your soul, because it's a reality, okay? It's a reality. You could share some of this with your other family member friend. Go ahead and take some of this good soul food, pack it up in some of the takeaway boxes, and go ahead. I'll clean up the kitchen, okay? So you ain't got to do nothing. I'm just glad that you met with me tonight, okay? And get ready for a new year coming up in a few more days. If the Lord tarry, get ready for a new year, my brother and sister. I love you, brother. I love you, sister. You all have a good night. Peace out.